Did you see this on my last video? I'm not sure what's going on concerning these. A lot of suggestions. Did you see that?
Oh,
No.
yeah.
Siberia, Omsk, area. So, like, saying, oh, well, this could be the Tunguska event.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Back in 1909. So I'm thinking, right, they didn't go there for 25 years after to look for the event, okay, or signs of the event that they heard about. This place is supposed to be so remote, okay? The place is definitely mud flooded, but I'm thinking that, you know, this Tunguska event might be just like, a term for a greater event, and the date might be jumbled. So it might have been, because what I'm wondering about these is I can't see the other side of their heads, but their eardrums are burst. So that's through an exceptionally loud noise, right? And they're blinded. And they can't be like a munitions plant exploded, because they're a mixture of, I don't know, women, people in uniform over here, and these guys in white. So I'm thinking that, like, there was some terrible event. Another thing I noticed is they're turning up at the hospital for treatment. Okay, as you can see, he's like, sticking something in this kid's ear, this guy's ear. Yeah, and who dressed them in the first place? How are they dressed in the first place? Who bandages their heads up? What exactly is going on? So it would seem that in 1898, 10 years before the Tunguska event, there was some sort of exceptionally loud noise that burst everyone's ears, and some sort of flash of light was bright enough to blind all these people. Gas, maybe, maybe a gas attack of some sort. They did millions to Siberia, absolutely millions to Siberia. This is the only other analogy I can think of, is gas in the First World War. This is a chlorine gas attack at Ypres. But they're not, they haven't got bleeding ears. That's from like a combustive wave or exceptionally loud noise. And, they say, right, they ship criminals out to Siberia, okay, en masse at this period. This is before the Bolsheviks. This is before Stalin. Lenin's not really kicking off just yet. And to the Romanovs at the time. But, they get off these trains, and to me, they all seem, if they've just been traveling for days across the expanse of Asia, they all look really well turned out coming out of these carriages. There's even an infant there that made it fine, For people who are crushed in trains, there's something else going on. So they arrive. They're living in Earth, but you can see they're white Europeans, they're white Russians. This guy here, he could be, from Leningrad or something, and mostly European in this picture, but they live in these really run-down things. But what you find, they're living in just the most glittering civilization you could ever imagine. There's something else going on with this. I'm wondering what he's telling us. He's out in this like deserty bit. It's like there was something there once or something. I wonder why he would do that. But yeah, you get all of these ginormous cathedrals in a minute, but you get the ladders, no population, not an animal, hardly any trees, hardly any vegetation.
And just really wide streets.
Always really, really broad. But I think it's because of Tartarian, Tartarian transport. I think, who even knows? Monorails or
yeah. I think they had the trams, and they had to have the streets wide for that. If you'd ask me, I think they were always in every city, and you can tell by the layout how they have that. The station is just like the wide street, but then it has a median. It's like a third lane down the middle, with like long ovals, and then there's an octagonal kiosk, bunko booth, or whatever. It's always there, and that's like the ticket office. And so you can tell if it had if it was laid out and originally had the trams set up by those wide streets and all that other stuff, which a lot of cities have that officially never had a tram system. You know?
Like crap they brought in, but you know, you want to see the civilization that they're living in is this. Yeah, they live in suburbs under this. Which...
And that's always fenced off. It's in a district that is a place of which they shall not speak, to which they shall not go. You know, if you're caught in there, you're caught dead, and you know, you can. Yeah,
exactly. And just mud outside. This thing here, further east, it just looks exactly like a power plant of the modern day with these things you've got on here. And just been crazy. Like the punishments, obviously, they're supposed to be corporal punishment in Siberia, but Stalin went there, had a lovely little cottage and a wife and some kids. So I feel they're keeping someone out of this plant. It's just crazy tech on top of it. I can't imagine it being any place of worship or anything.
Is that in Siberia?
Very east, and it's into China now. But like you know, this thing.
Because that city is one that has all kinds of legends. If it's the one I'm thinking of, like City of the Gods or something they called it in the local language.
It's crazy. Underneath here, I noticed. But you know, even corrugated stuff, right, that's around it. It's really modern for 1890s, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Look at this thing out in Devastation Inlets, right? Yeah, you know, it's got this amazing thing. Yeah, all you've got to hold it up is wooden trusses.
Yeah, I saw this video of yours, Martin. This part here, can you see my cursor or just to the right? To the right. Yeah, see on the right, like they've shopped it out. They've vanilla skied part of the structure.
Right here.
Yeah, just go down. You know, obviously they've overlaid and double exposed.
Oh, right. Yes.
Not a very good job of it, but
I hear over this side too.
And the focus doesn't match the background. It's
weird. Well, that's what they're doing with the mud anyway. They're making bricks, digging it out.
Are they making bricks there?
Well, it's either for burning as fuel, because that's the only thing they can do with it. It is peat. But
I wondered, the term mud flaps.
Yeah.
Like, where does it originally come from? When I saw that picture, I thought of that.
All right. I presume they're just built because there's a lot of these mud huts that they put up. Look at this Freemasonic thing going on here.
Did you see the video I did about this era in Russia, right around the Bolshevik time, and they were hauling slaughtered pigs on trains, and I thought they were bodies, and it was very similar to that. But yeah, just a devastated town, and everyone's outside of town in these big groups, and they're living right on the riverbank, like you showed in this video. Right where if you have high water, I mean, that can come on with a couple days after a rain up the way. You don't even know it rained hard up there, and then you'll be swept away.
Yeah. They live in a beautiful city, they live up your suburbs. They come in these sort of uniforms. So, I think that a lot of them are to clean the place up. Look at that. Does that look like it's superimposed in the background or just added crayons in?
It does.
Yet to find any advertising boards. People have suggested, they're electric light advertising things. Yet we've yet to find any actual advertising in any of them.
No, I've seen those. Those are like transfer boards for like the telegraph lines and things like that, where there are actually really thin wires going in. They just don't photograph. But I've seen some close-ups of them where it's like a manifold that takes in all the wires, But yeah, maybe not in every case, but I've seen them up close like that before.
It's I think it is in here. There's just show you some more of these. There's some unbelievable mud flood.
Go up. I want to see there's a freeze above the a little further up, and look there. Is it blank or is there writing on it?
Looks blank.
I mean, they scrub it, and you can you can tell it's been blurred out, or like they make it so you cannot read that stuff.
And they catch, the photographer catches the ladders going up them, I notice. You know,
Oh,
just to show that somebody's going up to the top of it.
There is it.
Ye olde ladderline. It's always got to be there.
Imagine going up that one. Whoa. So, you know, you've got that going on, and they're living in muddy shacks. And,
well, you know, these
anyway.
arches, if you go back to these really old drawings, you see those same exact arches as part of a grand, huge castle structure. It's like part of the outer walls. And for some reason, like if it was originally that, they dismantle that, and then the citadel in the inside is an unprotected city. It seems to be like that, but later on they're just building just the arches by themselves, apparently. But you know what I'm talking about. You've seen these older drawings. It's
sure.
Like
I've got them there. I know.
They're kind of hard to come by, but I found one recently. It was a pain.
Yeah, you know, it's just crazy good. It's just absolutely, you know, all got the tech on the turret things going on. Look at these things out in the middle of nowhere.
And always that fence. Can you mag up on the fence going around the building?
Yeah, it's just wicker. It's just a timber fence.
Yeah, they always seem to have that. It's the building's partially buried, so the windows are kind of half buried sometimes, and so that's one reason they put it around there. There's a lot of like cave in around the edge, like they kind of have like a hollows around it.
Well, it makes perfect sense to me anyway. Look, if I was the foreman and it's like, we've got to dig out a mud flooded city, I'd be like, well, I don't think we should dig it all out. Maybe if we just dug it out from in front of the buildings, build retaining walls, lift the front doors up in the air, then we won't have to remove 1 trillion tons of mud from the street.
Yeah. And what happens though is the water sheds off the roof, and so it cuts out the mud around the building, and so like little kids and animals will get trapped down there, and so they put that fence up around, and you see it all the time in these old photos.
Right, I need to just plug my phone in. It's going to go off in a second, UAP.
It's a big giveaway too, though, isn't it? That, you know, they apparently are building all these massive masonry buildings, but they can only, you know, when it comes to fences, they can only build a little wooden fence.
Yeah. And they've been around so long, like, oh, it's under construction. But you look at some of these fences and they have so many different little stapled on pieces of paper, foreclosure, you know, pandemic or whatever it says, you know, on there, lost cat, whatever. And they have them plastered with these papers in some photos.
So yeah, I think there was definitely an event in the late 19th century and probably earlier 19th century is what I'm thinking, and then definitely in 1700s. Just these things seem to be recurring really close together, and that seems to be the score.
Yeah,
it seems we've had a reprieve from these events, you know, since the Edwardian times. You know, we can pick up the trace of what's happened with humanity since then, although the Edwardians, you know, are supposed to be done and dusted by, you know, the First World War ends in time for this flu epidemic, that happened just after it. I'm just thinking that they changed their track, their tact, you know, they don't need to do, you know, these apocalyptic wars they say they're having. All they need is, you know, fear and programming. It's really simple how they've done it, you know, and how, you know, if you know how consciousness works, you're going to know how easy programming and brainwashing is. Repeat something often enough and it will come true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I won't give it any energy at all. Said that to a girl today in the shop. She was cracking up. Yeah, there was like, before I got there was about a dozen people in a house on the corner. It looked like they were having a bit of a party. Police had turned up with masks to break it all up, but nobody's taking any notice. People are still living their lives where I live. And I went into the shop. The girl's like, I thought I was going to crack this morning. I said, just stick with it. Things will get better. She said, it's just too much what they're doing to us all. And I really felt sorry for her because she wasn't awake. And, you know, she's living in fear, but she wasn't wearing a mask. She was just a cool person. So, you know, what they're doing to people, you know, they can't keep that up. You know, even the straightest people, you know, away from the truth. are going to want their lives back. You know, it's just kind of.
Yeah, it's as if, I mean, I don't understand how people can go along with, like, it's as if people never gathered. You know, it's like there's nothing to miss or something for so many people. They don't even communicate this idea.
I don't actually, when I was right, in Britain, we were up in Amsterdam about anything. The miners' strikes, we had, you know, the youth used to get together and kick holy crap out of one another at the seaside resorts every bank holiday Monday. This was a sort of national tradition. If you didn't do it then, you went on to the football on Saturday and kicked in somebody else's head. That's how Britain culture was run. And then since the millennials, when they got them all on the computers and, you know, just a virtual reality more or less, and, you know, just molded them the way they want to, you know, individuality, all these different, you know, ways of living your life, all gone. It's just, there seems to be one type of person out there now. Yeah, there really does.
Well,
you know, identity.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids that aren't complying. Like, they know it's nonsense. The term fake news really rings with them. Once they hear it, it really, when they try to make sense of things, the term fake news just absolutely
rings true.
And it's going to be, if anything's the death knell, it would be probably that.
It makes more sense than the narrative, doesn't it? You know, if you're trying to work all this stuff out in your head and going crazy, and someone just goes, it's just all fake, you know, if you go, oh, that's the answer, it's all BS.
It has to be. Yeah.
It does have to be.
And if you look at it, it is. I mean, it is.
Provably.
So it's I heard that Biden saying in his presidential speech about, we're going to put a stop to disinformation on the internet, or, you know, basically fake news. And he had a ripple of applause. He was the only one he had. So obviously that's their, that's not.
Yeah, he's not talking about what we're thinking.
I know. So, is what I thought.
Yeah. We know how that will go, but you know, when they actually try to flesh it out, they do fail. They fail at a number of things that they try.
This administration is going to fail just epically. I mean, look how they've come out. I mean, no celebrations. I mean, it's like a funeral. Their inauguration, them taking it was literally like a funeral. Like, apart from the fact they didn't let anyone in DC and it was all fenced off and full of army, but no one turned up. They had seats out there. No one turned up. And like, what have they done in their first day? Like, they haven't heard boo from them, apart from everyone's got to wear masks for 100 days.
Yeah, it's really it's a card game where they just keep raising the stakes. That's what I've been saying. They raise the stakes, and it's like they're bluffing, right? They seem to be bluffing, but they are all in, and they keep raising every chance they get. They raise the stakes. It's unnerving. Yeah, it's unnerving, but.
It's a guide for everybody. Human rights, everything's just gone. It don't exist anymore.
No.
Well, I mean, if people...
They exist for me, yeah, that's the thing. You know, they exist if you make them exist, don't they? This is a whole thing. And there's movements starting up too. There's a big one in Italy, and I think there's one in America too, where everyone's just getting, all the business owners are just saying, stuff this, we're just opening up. And they're trying to get everyone to get behind them.
Well, they're going to arrest everyone, every business. They can't do it, can they? You know, so
that's why I've been saying this thing about Saturday night, 7 p.m. If everybody on Saturday night at 7 p.m. all over the world, you know, it's in a lot of music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, 7 o'clock and I want to rock. You know, Saturday night's all right for fighting. Saturday Night Fever, you know, and Saturday in the Park, and all these things. I think it may be kind of the way, like hey, here's a olive branch to get yourself out of this shite.
Well,
you know?
Everyone might just hit the street for an hour without masks and stuff.
Yeah, what can they do?
Yeah,
They did it in Italy. I think it was a Wednesday, but whatever. You know, pick a time and see what happens. You know. The mayors, did you see the mayors throwing fits? It was quite comical. Oh, yeah. I mean,
listen to what they're told.
Yeah, the mayors were just literally, they looked ridiculous. It was just like the teacher from the Pink Floyd, The Wall, you know. They're going around on the beach. Yo, yes, yo, stop playing ping pong. And, you know, it's absolutely ridiculous. There's these two, like this guy, I think there's a guy and a girl. They're out in this huge, open, empty beach. There's a ping pong table. And the mayor's there, and he's just kind of chasing after them, you know, all enraged, yelling in Italian about, you know, basically, get over here, get home, you gotta go home, and all this. And it's like, come on, don't you know how ridiculous you look? And then they go back and they're sitting behind their desks, pounding their fists and saying, you know, 400 people will die because you celebrated a anniversary or something, whatever it was, you know, and they're just livid at them for being murderers for having fun. And, you know, can't say much more about it, but it was something else.
It's just
ridiculous.
I think some people have just sold into the lie so much and sold into it as far as sold their soul for money and God knows what else, that they have to keep going. They've got nothing left.
Yeah, I know.
They just got to keep going and going and go for broke, and that's it. You know, they've got the one rule book and they've run out, so they just like, look, right, let's just add steroids.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly it. Yeah, I know. They got no choice, have they? They just got to roll with it.
Yeah, exactly. They've built a bigger box around themselves than they have around us, I think. And
yeah, I mean, but you know, they aren't. Oops.
Oh.
I just wanted to share a screen from here. Yeah. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
It won't let me turn that.
I can hear a strange, like, Australian bird in the background.
Can you?
It's like a do-do-do-do-do-do thing.
Australian bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Did you see my magic holy hand grenade?
Nice. Did you have that made for you, or did you make it?
Someone made it for me and sent it to me, one of my subs.
Yeah, I had one a couple of years ago. I love my Orgonite.
When I took it out, it was like literally, it was hot when I took it out of the box. So
Put your hands over the top subtly, and what I could feel off mine is like cool air. It's in the palm of my hand, yeah.
Nice. This one has heat coming off the bottom, but
I didn't know. In the last, I went to do a convention back in a couple of months ago in Birmingham, and they had a guy turns up, Sean, and he sent me one through the post and Orgonite, and he had it all set up there. And he had an Orgonite pyramid. You sit inside in a chair, and I could literally, the seconds, I could feel myself feeling invigorated, more energized. And when I stepped out, I was a different person to when I stepped in, no doubt about it whatsoever. I noticed then, and they've been doing this for years. I noticed I was watching, did you know Gary Newman, Cars?
Yeah.
Electric, yeah. He done the video of that, and he's standing in an Orgonite pyramid on the stage. Like, whoa, he knows about this stuff, yeah? And he's singing from it. I've seen another one as well. Flipping out, what's his name? Billy Idol. He was standing in an Orgonite pyramid as well.
Wow.
You know, I've seen loads of them since the dim one. You know, you do that, don't you? You know, when you learn something, yeah, you don't know it before, and you know, once you know, every city on earth sends me mud floods about their city or their town. So, you know, everywhere, you know this. You won't believe this. It goes 2 levels down. What the hell's going on? I know. Yeah. Anywhere on earth.
There's a dude in he's not alive anymore. Peter Brock. He used to be a race car driver, and he started a company, and he was like kitting out Holdens, you know, like putting sports specs on them and stuff. And he had an option that was to have, he wasn't calling it Orgonite, but it was basically to have a little I don't know what it's called, but it was basically, yeah, it was Orgonite. And he just attached them to the chassis of the car, and the car's got something like 20% better fuel economy.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is all he did to it was just put a piece of Orgonite in there. Yeah.
I'm trying to got an Orgonite generator on the back garden. Back last summer, it was a cloudy day, just like this hazy stuff, and directly above the Orgonite was just a perfect circle in the sky.
Yeah.
Got a photograph of it.
The dude who invented, or who named it Orgon, what was his name? Willem Reich, was it? Is that right? Yeah. He had a Cloudbuster.
Yeah, I know. It's in my book. Yeah, man. I've been mad on Orgonite in this field for a long time now. Yeah. Kate Bush told us about it in Cloudbuster. You ever seen a video to that? She showed Reich's experiment with his car.
Okay, really? I'll have to check it out. I mean, I'd heard about it, but I'd sort of just, you know how there's all the crappy Orgonite, all the stupid stuff you buy and it's just all paperweights and that. So I never really got into it, but I did an interview like last week, and it's pretty cool stuff. Like there's a lot of, and I mean the proof that it works is that the guy who invented it, they made him burn all his own work and then threw him in jail for trying to kill people. So that's a proof positive that it works for me.
So, no, I definitely think it's
it's good stuff. Hey, I might have to go soon. It's 3 o'clock in the morning here. I just realised.
Yeah, sorry.
Might have to get some sleep at some point. Not the time matters anymore or anything,
Yeah, what day of the week is it?
Yeah, exactly.
You're in the future. You're into Saturday now, aren't you?
All right. I'm Marty McFly, man. No, he went backwards, didn't he? Right. You're Marty McFly.
Thanks for
yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's good chat. Yeah. Yes, we'll have to do it again. Awesome. All right, guys, have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Yep.
Well,
all right. Ciao. Yep. Peace out.
See ya.
Ciao, mate.